in backpack battles you have to spend gold, buy items and get stronger. But wait, really? In this economy? Where a piece of banana costs more than a straight up gemstone? No, I don't think so. I want a better deal. I want to buy items on. So, is it even possible to beat this game without buying anything that isn't on sale? Well, before we find that out, let's set some rules. Firstly, the only way I can obtain items is by buying them on sale or generating them. Adventurer's Backpack and Offering Bowl are banned. I simply don't have the time to go scavenging for items, and the only goal I pray to is money. And finally, my goal is to get to 10 wins in unranked using any other allowed character I want. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, unlike the previous video, which I actually, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it you should, beat first try, this one took me quite a lot longer. Turns out spending 80% of your gold on rolling just to get a bad item is not the most effective way to play the game. Sometimes I even got lucky. Nice! I'm having such a strong run right now. I got 2 katanas, very strong defenses, and I only need 2 more wins to beat the challenge. The luck I got on this run was insane. Hey kid, wanna pivot? No. No, I'm serious, you should pivot. But I don't have any empower. Just trust me, pivot. You know you want it. Okay. Oh man. Right off the bat, I got an incredibly lucky start with a rainbow badge, a cloth armor and a pan on sale. This allowed me to kickstart myself with some damage, defense and utility immediately. I did some less than thorough ranging and went up against my first opponent. I thought that maybe they were doing some sort of challenge themselves, as the only items they had were a wooden sword and a whetstone. After that I had to roll past a day 2 Goobert, and after rolling down most of my gold, got my hands on some space. A much needed addition, as bags proved to be quite scarce in this challenge. After plowing through another unlucky soul, I got unlucky with the skills myself, and none of them were on sale. A truly sad day for capitalism. I did however get a Goobert, and that's amazing, as I can combine it with my cloth armor to get Hold On, arguably the best bag in the game, and also 6 free space. Unfortunately, this meant I lose next round, as I simply did not have the space to fit both a Goobert and an armor while keeping my board, well, effective. Afterwards, I rolled down basically all of my gold and managed to get the materials for an upgraded sword. Not the best item for mid-game, but definitely better than the foodless pans I had been running up until now. After some thinking, I decided to make the sword into a steel Goobert. A very risky choice for the mid-game, as I would need even more discounted weapons and space to make it work, but I decided to flip it. After all, if I can enable it, a steel Goobert is basically a win condition on its own, and well, you know, I practically only have to win once, so might as well. This unfortunately made me immediately very weak. Even with Divine Wheat Basket's healing, which had been carrying me hard so far, I still ended up losing to a essentially mediocre board. At this point, I was kind of doubting myself, but oh well. In the very next shop, however, I managed to get my hands on a corrupted gem. My idea was that if I left it in the backpack just like this, the fatigue might be able to out-sustain some of the boards I encountered. After all, the ones I've been seeing so far were less than impressive. Without assumption, however, this is not a very effective strategy for this point in the game. I really had to get lucky. Regardless, it did clutch up, so I can't complain. Can't complain is what I thought at least, but then I saw the round 8 shop. It of course had nothing on sale. This usually meant that my run gets sacked, but I decided to keep going just to see where this ends up. Regardless, this alone puts me on a massive disadvantage against pretty much anyone with an idea of how to play the game. I then bought some more steel Goobert fodder and went ahead expecting to get completely decimated, but I somehow won? I was beginning to doubt the ability of these unranked players. In my head, the board I was queuing up with had no business winning in round 8. I then somehow won again? Are these even real people? How is this possible? Well, regardless, a win is a win, so I cannot complain, especially considering the fact that in the very next shop I found a Hungry Blade. I already had some vampirism from the dagger, and with my boosted basket healing I was actually unironically quite strong. I rearranged my board to fit a Wolpertinger, a
How the hell is this pronounced?
tiger. I rearranged my board to fit a rabbit. I was stomping hard. I even felt bad. I wanted to show more struggle, more drama. You know, it's a challenge video after all. The next round, I lost. Somehow, at my very peak, was one of my first losses this challenge. This really proves that any player who has an idea of what's happening combos me hard. I really didn't want to spend 10 more attempts trying to fish for any form of items that synergize, so I really wanted to win this one. I managed to fit a cheese and I was finally almost there. I was one win away from my salvation, from freedom. And not only that, I had 3 lives left to spare. I was confident, but I wasn't done yet. I have had many ranked games where I get humbled on repeat in the very last rounds. This is usually because my board falls off, but, well, of course, it is worth considering that players in Diamond are likely much better at optimizing for late game than players in Unranked, so I should be fine, right? At this point, I was kind of feeling like Sisyphus, like any enemy of Gojo Satoru, like Achilles in Achilles in the Turtle, basically any metaphor for someone who can never reach the end. With 9 wins around the bend, I could clearly see the end. I could smell me being free, but was about to pay the fee. The fee of greed and of desire, brought upon me by my endless ire. Here it comes, the end of my tale, of how I bought everything on sale. Okay, you must admit that was pretty good, right? Like, I'm not Shakespeare, but, you know, it's at least decent, right? Right? Anyway, back to the video. Like Hamlet, I knew the end is nigh, but then, faithfully, I won. I managed to succumb to the tight grasp of capitalism and won by making the best deal out of every purchase. I was finally... Like usual, making this video was a ton of fun, and if you reached this far, I hope you enjoyed it. It's funny because, originally, the topic of this video was planned to be a continuation of my previous one, which, if you haven't watched, you should. Namely, can I beat the game with only neutral items? This proved to be quite easy, however, and I won pretty definitively in my very first attempt. And I didn't even get lucky. Turns out half the items in this game basically do nothing, and you can just get an insane run with just buying the few ones that do something. Regardless, thank you very much for watching, I'm glad to have you here. If you want to see more of this goofy style of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. This is the type of videos I plan to upload from now on, so your support is much appreciated. Without searching this out too much, I hope to see you again, my friend. Till next time.